Hey y'all, in this video I'm going to show you how to change out a hydraulic fan motor in an American Eagle, a 2000 American Eagle motorhome with an ISC 350 Cummins. I was having a lot of overheating issues. I changed out my fluid. I was testing everything. I couldn't figure out why I was overheating, and then I saw a leak where the shaft of the fan motor comes out, and turns out that's what it was. So you can get a kit to just change the gaskets, but it was a 2000, so I figured I better go ahead and change the whole damn fan motor. It was about $450 for the fan motor. I finished the job and it is not overheating at all. It's running very, very cool. So anyway, and all the instructions to do this will be at the bottom. Detailed step-by-step instructions with the tools you'll need, and just how to do it. Just scroll down to the show more part, and you'll totally figure it out. Okay, so this is the fan, the hydraulic fan motor. Here's the fan itself. In the front of the fan over here, you can't see it, but I'll get a mirror out in a second, is a bolt that holds it on. It's a 1/2 inch socket. We'll take it off. You can see the gunk built up from all the hydraulic fluid leaking, and that's what's causing my RV to overheat, because the fan's not spinning fast enough because the shaft that holds the fan in place has got a leak. So instead of just replacing the shaft seal, I'm going to go ahead and replace the whole motor because it's year 2000. It's time. Okay, as you can see with the mirror in place, you can see right there in the center is the 1/2 inch bolt that holds the fan onto the shaft. It's the one in the very center. It's threaded the normal way to get it off. It just takes a while. It's a very long bolt, but as you can see, it's coming off fairly easy. Okay, before I'm going to go any further, I skipped a step. I didn't put my gloves on, and I do like to wear gloves, but also the gunk, the buildup here, I'm going to use a spray and I'm going to soak it. I like to use this gunk engine degreaser, and I've got a little brush. So I'm going to spray that. I'm going to get this area a little bit cleaner for the next step. I'll see you in just a minute. Okay, so I sprayed the gunk gel, and it's really working its magic. And I bought this little brush over at Home Depot. I'm just going to clean up the area as best I can so it's easier to work. It's just hard to work on bolts that are just completely covered in gunk. I mean, this is a messy job. There's no way around it. This is going to be a messy, messy job. But this helps a little bit. Okay, so while I was waiting for the gunk to all clean up, see it's a lot cleaner already. You can see right there. Much easier area to work. I'm going to clean it all up and spray it off with water, but I grabbed a 3/16 inch hex tool, and you can see right in there is the hex bolt, right there. And I'm just going to take that guy off. Nothing to it, just comes right off. So once that guy's out, I'll be able to pry the fan off. That'll be step number 3. All right, so as you can see, I got the hex nut off. Pretty simple. Put everything in a coffee can so I don't lose it, and move on to step 3. Okay, so as you see, the gunk really cleaned off those bolts. I sprayed it down with some water. You can tell it's a bolt now. It's not just completely black gunk. That makes it a little bit easier to work on. It's just tough to work when it's so gunked up like that. Okay, so the next step is to pry the fan off. Now that the hex bolt is off, I'm going to use a pry bar, and I will pry the fan off of the shaft. Okay, so as you can clearly see, I've gotten the fan loosened off the shaft. There's a key in the groove that holds it on there, but I'm about to pull it off of there and capture that key. Okay, so you see there's a key right here. You don't want to lose that key. That fits in the groove and that keeps the fan spinning. So we will pull that off and clean this fan all up and everything. And but you want to slide the fan back on. I'll show you that step in the end, and then slide the key in, or it'll never fit. You can never get it to slide on with the key in it, but I'll explain that later. Okay, so we got the fan off. You can see the shaft, the shiny shaft is right there. It's actually, the fan sitting right there. But the next step, number 4, is to get off this nut and bolt This side is a 11/16. This side is a 5/8. You want to use a socket on this side and an open end wrench on this end because there's not enough clearance to get a socket just because of the motor. There's one right above the motor on the other side. You can't see it, and I'm going to do that one first because I like to do the hardest things first, and that way the easy one's left for last. Makes it more simple for me. Okay, so the bottom nut and bolt you see right here. See the bottom nut and bolt you see right here, easy access. But the top one isn't. You can't see the inside. It's too. You can see the outside one up there, but you can't see the inside one because it's tucked inside over the top. So and it was really hard to keep a box wrench on it. So I put a small vice grip on it, and it's working perfectly. I'll get it off just shortly. So as you see, using the vice grip, it came right off, no problem. I suggest you do the same thing. It's much easier, at least on the top one. Using the vice grip on the top nut was so easy, I decided to just use it on the bottom too. As you can see, it's coming right off, no problem. It's not even moving. So you can use 11/16 wrench if you want to be, you know, old school, or just use this freaking vice grip. Anyway, it's about to come off. Okay, on to step 5. We're gonna loosen the hoses so we can drain the fluid out and get this motor off of here. One side is 1 1/4 or 1 1/8, and this is 1 1/4. I didn't have big enough wrenches for that, so you can use adjustable wrenches. It's just fine. And make sure you have a bucket. I love a little Home Depot bucket, and we're gonna see if we can get these hoses off of here. In order to get the hose off, on the bottom I had to use a 1 1/4 inch wrench with a cheater bar on it, and once it came loose, I could pull the whole entire motor assembly off and pull it around the top so I could get to the other one. Now the other one, since there was nothing holding the motor on anymore, had to hook it to a vise. So I hooked the shaft to a vise and did the same thing. Voila, it came right off. And now that the complete old motor is on the vise, you got to get these fittings off, both of them, because the new motor does not come with these. This is after I cleaned this thing, so this goes to show you how dirty the thing really was. I guess I probably could have cleaned it better, but I was anxious to get it off. I put the vise directly on the first fitting, like inside the vise itself. And once I got that one off, which I used the whole body to spin it, it came off real easy. I was able to have the clearance to put the motor directly in the vise and hopefully get this bad boy off right here. With the motor in the vise, you can use a wrench like this to create a cheater bar, or 1 1/8 and a pipe, whatever you need to do. But once you did it, it came right off. It was no problem. And literally, I can almost spin it with my hand now. Once you get both of the fittings off, you're pretty much done with the motor, the old motor. And it's just a paperweight at this point. But make sure you keep the fittings, because you want to keep those rubber gaskets, you know, the rubber O-rings. You want to make sure to keep those O-rings. You need those. It doesn't come with the new motor. As you can see, the fan is still covered in gunk. I have sprayed it with the gunk removal, engine removal stuff, and I'm going to take it to the car wash now and try to get it clean. Well, as you can see, it came really, really clean. I think it's going to be more efficient. Even after doing the job, I think just having a clean fan is going to make it more efficient. Okay, as you see, there's the old motor, and here's the new motor with all the new fittings on there, which are actually the old fittings. But now you just begin the process. You do it in reverse. It all goes back on together backwards. Now, as you're working in reverse, you want to make sure to get the top hose on first. Get the top hose on first and tight, because this whole assembly has to go up over the top of that and slide back in so you can fit the bottom hose on. So get the top one on first. I know it looks like it's not the top, but it really is. When it flips over the top, this is the top one. And then get the bottom one hooked up. The trick to getting the last 2 bolts on the motor is to get the bottom bolt on very loosely, just so it holds it in place. Then do the top one. The top one is a pain, and I think the hardest part of the job, getting the nut started. But once you get it going, it's not too bad, and then you can go tighten up the bottom one, make sure everything's tight, get the fan back on, and you're done. Well, that's the entire job, y'all. I hope it wasn't too hard. It's a little dirty. It's a dirty job. Micro would be proud. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can email me. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification. I'll be doing tons of RV maintenance videos as I live full-time in a motorhome. I'm a musician. But subscribe to my channel, and you'll see some other cool videos in there too. All right, till next time, I'm Eric Stone. Thanks.